Anyway, welcome back to This Morning. Last year, 9 men were given jail sentences of up to 19 years for their part in a child sexual exploitation gang.
Well, the court heard that 5 girls, the youngest of whom was just 13 when her abuse began, were plied with alcohol and drugs as they were groomed to be passed around groups of men for sex.
Well, we recently spoke with one of those girls after she'd been a key witness in the trial, and her story may shock you.
To protect her anonymity, all names were changed for the purpose of this interview. Thank you for coming in today. This is, I know, a very big step for you. And let's go back to June 2008, and there's a group of girls, you're 15 years old, and there's a group of girls who just hang around together. What did you do? What was it like?
Well, it started off, they invited me to come to the takeaway with them, because they'd been going. So I went up one night and they just bought us alcohol.
So what sort of people were at the takeaway? These a group of men?
Yeah, the Asian men who worked there.
How many people do you think?
There was just 3 who worked there.
So they became sort of friends to begin with, and they invited you and the rest of the girls to come upstairs and to just chill out.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit strange, but we was getting all this free stuff. And
what made you trust them?
I think I just didn't think anything like that really happened.
And at this time in your own life, your home life with your parents was breaking down. There was constant arguments about you going out, drinking, coming back late, and this led to you to actually moving out.
Yeah, I went to stay with some friends from school. I just ended up moving in there, really.
And what was this house like that you moved into?
There was fleas in the house from the dogs. But I thought it was good because we could do what we wanted. Come in whenever I wanted, do anything, really.
And it was during this time when you were at the house that you became friends with Emma.
Yeah.
And I say you became friends very loosely because eventually that wasn't what that relationship was at all. And it was on this night that you and her, August 2008, you went back to the takeaway with her.
Yeah.
And things took a very sinister turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how comfortable you feel talking about this, but if you can, what happened that night?
She asked me if I wanted to go to the takeaway shop, and I didn't think anything of it because I've been loads of times before and nothing sexual or anything had ever happened. So I went, and we was there for an hour or so, and one of the men asked me to go upstairs, and they started asking me about, well, basically saying that he wants something in return for all the things what he's bought me. And then I said no, but he started being like aggressive about it, and then he did what he did.
He raped you?
Yeah.
And then he came in with a £10 note?
Yeah. And he said to me that I was a special girl and not to cry.
And when you went downstairs, she was laughing, Emma was laughing?
Yeah, she just thought it was funny. She knew that I was still crying.
She knew it was going to happen, though, didn't she?
I think so, yeah. I didn't know that at the time, but looking back on it all now, yeah.
And that's not where it ended, because later on you were driven to another flat and you were forced to perform oral sex on another man. Straight after that you were raped by yet another man. And this time it was Emma that came in and gave you the money.
Yeah, it was straight after. They drove us to another house, and there was some men there waiting, and I had to have sex with them, and then one of the men gave her some money, and she gave me, I think, about £10 out.
If this story wasn't horrifying enough that you're telling us now, it progressed to extraordinary levels. You were driven to other properties, you were driven around the north of the UK. Gangs of men would be waiting for you. You'd be in your school uniform, pick you up after school, and then take you to a house where these men would rape you one after the other?
They didn't care really about how old I was. They'd pick me up from school and just go straight there. And people think it happens at night time. I was going at 3 o'clock.
Were there other girls that you saw either close to you or off in the distance that you thought that this is happening to them as well?
Yeah, I've seen other girls at houses, but didn't know who they was. I've only seen them once.
Well, you did eventually speak to the police in August 2008, and one of the principal men was arrested, but he was very quickly replaced, as you said, by somebody else. This is in the book. The case was thrown out because there wasn't enough evidence. How did that make you feel? Did you feel that you weren't being listened to, that it wasn't being taken seriously?
I just thought there's no point anymore, because if the police aren't even going to do anything...
And after that case was thrown out, you straight away got caught back up into the same situation, but it escalated and it got worse, and you were being raped up to 20 times a night.
There was... sometimes it'd just be a couple of days a week, but other times it'd be every night, and there could be dozens of men there.
All Muslim men? These are all Asian men?
Can I ask you, because obviously emotionally the effect and impact this is going to have on you, but physically as well, 15 years old, being raped repeatedly so many times a week, must have been horrific for you.
Yeah, I think I sort of got used to it well, not used to it, but it didn't upset me anymore.
At what point did you decide, or did it happen, that you were taken seriously and that things began to move forward?
It didn't really, until the policewoman got in touch with me a couple of years later when I was 18.
Was it still going on all of that time?
No.
When was the last time? How old were you when it finished?
16. I got pregnant, and that's how it all come to an end, really.
Although you were still raped a couple of times.
Yeah,
whilst you were pregnant.
3 months pregnant when it stopped. So for the first few months it was still going on, and they knew that I was pregnant.
What was it like to finally be listened to be believed?
I just didn't really believe it at first. I didn't, even while all the investigation was going on, I never thought that they was going to get, I didn't think they'd be found guilty. I didn't think they'd get the sentences what they've got either. I don't know.
It did go to court. The police identified a total of 47 victims. In May 2012, 9 men were convicted and given sentences of between 4 and 19 years for offences including sex trafficking, rape and conspiracy to engage in sexual activity with a child. Do you think it's still happening?
Definitely. I think there's 9 men was convicted, but they were just the main ones. I met probably hundreds that I could probably walk past them in the street now and I wouldn't even know it was them, even after what they've done to me. Because sometimes I'd just see them for the 10 minutes. I don't know, there's so many, I wouldn't be able to tell you how many. So
somewhere out there, there's a girl like you, or lots of girls like you, 14, 15, 16 as you were at the time, that this could be happening to, that this afternoon they could be picked up from outside school and raped a number of times.
Yeah, I just think now people know about it now, and they're taking it more serious, and I think you obviously do need to tell someone because it is wrong, and you might think it's great at first, but it's not for free, and it just turns around so quick, and I don't...
Speak to someone,
yeah.
Talk to someone, people listen to you.
We've got a couple of statements I think we should probably read here. A CPS spokesperson said, "We acknowledge that the decision in 2009 not to proceed to throw out the case was wrong. The decision was overturned in 2011. We've acknowledged that concerns about Girl A, which is how you were referred to, her credibility as a witness were a factor in the original decision, and that our conclusion on this issue was wrong. There's been a fundamental shift in the way we now approach these cases, and the Greater Manchester Police say we want to make it clear that it's not acceptable for any police officer to appear disinterested in a victim who is confiding in them about what has happened. We'd like to reassure anyone coming forward that they'll be treated sensitively, compassionately and with respect. We've significantly improved our service and support for victims."
And this is your story here in the book, Girl A, My Story, the truth about the Rochdale sex ring by the victim who stopped them. And thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Brave lady. Well, if you or anyone you know have been a victim of sexual assault, please don't remain silent about it. If you want to speak with someone who can offer advice and support, we have details of organisations on the website.
Yeah, lots more still to come today after this break. Don't go away.